Hi, I'm Matt Gallagher from What Digital Camera magazine, and I'm here to review the Nikon D3000 budget DSLR camera. The D3000 takes over the reins from the likes of the D60 and the D40X that went before it. Although this is essentially a no-frills camera, it does have some really interesting highlights, including an 11-point AF system, a new guide mode, a graphical interface, and most importantly, the Nikon F-mount on the front, which will allow you to use any of the Nikon range of lenses. The sensor in this camera is a 10.2 megapixel CCD sensor, and it uses a dust reduction system that has an airflow technology to blow the dust through the camera and onto an adhesive strip at the bottom of the sensor. The autofocus system is Nikon's Multicam 1000, which uses 11 AF points, the centre one being a cross-type sensor. It has a 3D tracking option to help with moving subjects, though because there's no actual autofocus motor in the body, it does rely on the motors in the lenses for the speed of this. The camera comes bundled with its 18-55 lens, which offers a 3.5 to 5.6 aperture range, and it does include vibration reduction to steady your shot as well. In terms of look and feel, this camera has a striking resemblance to the previous D60, but that's not a bad thing. This camera feels great in the hand and it's great fun to use. The shooting information can be displayed in this simple graphical format, which even shows for changing size of the aperture there. Or you can opt for a more traditional style into this mode here. And if we change on the top here, we can go into the guide mode, which then will actually talk you through some easy operation to really improve your style of photography. There's also a range of in-camera processing options. These range from raw processing through to effects such as miniature, which mimics a tilt-shift effect in your images. In terms of image quality, the camera does really well to balance the exposures and only occasionally underexposes. With the help of the de-lighting system, it really does bring back highlights and shadows, particularly in really contrasty conditions. Both RAW and JPEG images hold detail very well, though the RAW images do have the edge very slightly. The white balance does tend to err on the side of neutrality, but this does tend to benefit your images and can always be counteracted with the help of the settings. Chroma noise starts to creep into images above ISO 400, but even at the 1600 ISO setting still manages to preserve detail and sharpness. The high 1 setting, which is equivalent to ISO 3200, should be saved for emergencies, because it does add some rough texture to the images, and it reduces some of the image sharpness too. The D3000 may not be the cheapest camera in its category, but it is undoubtedly one of the best. It does lack a couple of features, such as a live view function, but with the inclusion of the guide mode and the graphical user interface on the back, it is definitely worth considering. This is why we gave this camera the recommended score of 86%.